Good afternoon, everybody. I was not going to do any content today, being a three-game short slate, but I've had a few things develop this morning that I think actually make a lot of sense. I want to show you something tonight about determining where people are going to go, where the sweet spots of a slate are going to be, and how you can attack this to set yourself up in a profitable position. So this is going out to the public, and I am actually sharing our VIP material today just to show you how well we use this stuff right now, how awesome this tool is. I am Chapadong. I'm a coach and contributor inside DFSArmy.com. And if you need a tool like this, you need to jump in and you need to use coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P, trigger a 10% off discount, and start using this tool. It will make you a better hockey player. You're watching me because you like hockey and because I share content with you, but I'm also going to tell you that you need information like this. This is better than anything you're going to find out there for free. Here's why. It's going to break down for you in two spots: the game, the matchups, the numbers, and then it's going to show you projected lines. When I look at Nashville and Toronto tonight, I already know this game is trending towards the over. I know that this game is right now favoring Toronto at home. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for, this game trending towards the over tells me that both these goalies to me are off the map. I don't really care. I know they're solid goalies. I mean, look at Pekka Rinne, for crying out loud. In his last, 6 games or so, he's down from a 2.32 to a 1.8. I mean, they're playing, defense is playing very, very well in Nashville right now. Toronto can score, though. Toronto's up from a 3.2 to a 3.3. That little uptick is what you're looking for. And when you look at Corsi 4 numbers, you're looking at high numbers when it comes to, where are we, 56 here. And I'm sorry, that's Corsi against again. Upper 50s. This is going to be a high activity game, or it should be. Toronto usually plays higher scoring games at home anyway. Now, I don't want either of these goalies, but I'm going to focus on both these offenses. I know that the goals allowed is way down again for Nashville, and Nashville's producing, but this right now Toronto's on hot fire. When I look at Boston, this is another game that is trending towards the over. And when we're looking at this 5.5, it doesn't tell me much. I'm going to search into Vegas, and I'm going to dig into what are people betting. Are they betting the over? Are they betting the under? And how strongly are they doing that? You need to look at a video series of mine back further on YouTube, Vegas odds, kind of like NHL for dummies or NHL for beginners or whatever you want to call it. Start learning how to read the Vegas lines. Find yourself a source and start using it. It will tell you where you should be focusing your attention. I'm not on this game for goalies either. Lundqvist is way too expensive to be facing a hot scoring Boston team. Boston's got 2 lines worth of depth, and they can really throw a bunch at you at once. When I look at Boston, we've got Kubanen, who a lot of people are talking about, a lot of people like, and that's okay. And New York is a little bit sloppy, but we also have indicators that New York matches up really tough against Boston when it comes down to it. So this game's actually a little bit scary. And I'm not going to share with you any secrets about this game for tournaments and things like that, but I'll tell you for cash, it's okay to focus on Boston. They're going to be very, very highly owned. Look at their Corsi numbers, upper 50s again, and down here at Corsi against, upper 60s. I mean, New York's going to be allowing shots, okay? So you're going to want the floor that comes with these Boston players to net a goal or two tonight. And if they're on your scoring line, then again, you're in a good spot. When you scroll down here to Edmonton and LA, this is kind of where you're going to have to go for your goalie, in my opinion, tonight for cash. I don't trust Cam Talbot, and certainly not on the road. LA is one of the premier shot suppression teams, Corsi against in the mid to low 50s. And when you look at the Corsi 4, Edmonton's been rolling hot lately. So again, this is a questionable situation. This is really and truly not a very safe slate for cash. It's more of a GPP type of slate. But if you're looking for cash, you still got to go with what you know. Who on Edmonton do you trust rolling into a tighter defensive unit like LA at home? Not a lot. But yet LA should be, when you're looking at these Corsi against numbers, you should be okay to fire off some of these LA Kings, into the Edmonton defense. So again, that's just a brief idea of what I'm looking for. I don't mind taking pieces of both sides of this game. I'd be focused in cash more on Boston, and I'd be focused more in LA when it comes to cash in that game. So that's going to make probably Jonathan Quick. I hope it's not the backup. I got word earlier that it was maybe his backup going to play tonight. I hope not. that's going to really throw another monkey wrench in the works. But we come down here to the projected lines tab. And now I'm going to start looking for, in the offense, who's doing the producing, okay? For Nashville, I'm looking at shots on goal plus blocked shots, and then I'm looking for production in goals and assists. What I want to find is who's firing the puck on net. So far, nobody on this top line really, okay? Doesn't mean they're in a bad spot. It just means they're not really shooting the puck with volume right now. When I look down a little bit lower at the defensive pairs, if I wanted to get access to that top line, I'd probably do it through Josie here. 53 shots on goal and blocked shots gives me a big floor over the last, say, 9 games, 10 games. That translates to about 55, 5.5, per game, shots or blocks totaled together per game. Gives me a floor of about 7.5, 8 points. Now, if he throws any production in on top of that, then I'm going to end up picking up an assist that's going to get me to 16 points. Bang, we're at value. Okay? Now, when I look at the second line, now the lines have been jumbled up. Fiala's not in right now. And I want to say, now this is where I'm going to get confused with Boston. These black and gold teams confuse me. But I know Fiala's out. And that really throws a monkey wrench in the works, because at 7 goals and 2 assists over his last 9 games and 34 shots on goal for $5,000, this was your premier value play on the night. A lot of people are going to run decisions, but Fiala was the premier value play on the night for cash. He's not now. So we're going to have to find where else are we going to go. Well, for cheap, 5,100 and 5,300, you've got Turris at 33 shots and Craig Smith at 32 shots. You're doing okay. You're not getting the production you were getting with a Fiala, but you're okay. You could drop down here too and pick up a Subban, 4 goals, 5 assists on 40 shots. Really, it's going to come down to, Ellis is pumping them in for cheap. Subban and Josie are expensive. These are the guys that you're going to be looking at, and maybe this second line. You can pick up a couple of guys up here. Sissons is really cheap. He's not shooting the puck a lot, but he's producing. Look at this power play down here. It's producing a little bit. When I jump over here to Toronto, I would love to get this top line. 13 goals and 14 assists in their last 10 games. Come on. On 91 shots, I'd just stack the whole damn thing up if I could. But I'm going up against a tougher defense in Nashville. So for cash, I'm not going to really want to put all of my eggs in that one basket. I'm going to want to spread out some. How am I going to spread out? Well, if I want access to this top line, I need that first or second defensive pairing that's going to overlap with it, preferably on the power play one. So I come down here and I find Jake Gardiner, 13 assists, 36 shots on goal. Now, 13 assists is not sustainable. Nobody, that's what, 100 assists on the year, 95 assists on the year. Nobody does that. That's not sustainable. But for right now, he's running hot. I don't mind taking the hot hand. What I like is this 36 shots and blocks as a floor. That's 3.6 per game. It's going to give me 5 points per game. I'm already at even money, on a value multiplier at 4,700. I'm already at 1x most games. Any production at all, and I'm overvalued. And he's producing. He correlates on the 2, which gets me access to Kadri, Marner, and Marleau. It gets me a little bit of overlap here, but it really overlaps this power play 1. The other part that I would use, if I was going to use, say, like an Austin Matthews, or a Marner, something like that, along with Gardner, something like that. This power play is not really producing. The second one is, though. Look at Marner, 3 power play goals. Kadri, 2 and 2. So if I wanted to run Kadri, Marner, and then Gardner to get access up here to the 1, I can certainly do that. And it's cheap. 5,600, 5,900, 4,700. There's 3 cheapies right there for you. Another little value mini stack for you. When I look at Boston, top line's going to be costly. Heinen's gone. Marchand's back. This will update a little bit later. Krejci, DeBrusk, Spooner stayed together. We don't show the third line much because we don't play a lot of third line players in DFS. Those are tournament plays. Bergeron at 6'5" and 35 for 8K is doing what Matthews is doing, 6'4" and 39 for 8K. Okay, so these two are virtually interchangeable. You could argue who's in the better spot. Being that New York's running at a -1 on their top line and Nashville's running at a +4, and they're not really, producing a ton, I would say that that's the better defensive line. This is the softer spot, so I would like Bergeron better. Pasternak's a cheaper alternative to it. Pasternak, I don't know how these assists are going to change with Marchand coming back, but as of right now, Pasternak's been doing the setting up. He's been feeding a lot of Bergeron. So we got 4 goals, 7 assists for a 30. This is a little bit better value at 7,600. This could be your one-off tonight. Look down a little bit further. Don't like no power play access on these defensemen. Krejci, DeBrusk, and Spooner, 7 goals, 13 assists, is a little competitive with that top line. 58 shots is not. They're not shooting like they were, but they're still an okay value play tonight, going up against probably the weaker line of the New York Rangers. And then down here with Krug, you can get some cheaper access at 5,600. That's producing some assists. This power play here, 6 and 11, is rolling pretty good. So you might want to focus on a couple of pieces out of here. Marchand's going to slide right back in. Over here in New York, not going to talk about New York much. Just not for cash. Doesn't make a lot of sense, honestly. Edmonton, lower scoring. You've got McDavid going nuts in the last game. A lot of people will be on him at 9,100. I don't think we need to take him with Bergeron and Matthews in a good spot. When I look down here a little bit further, there's not a lot that I'm going to want out of this Edmonton game. So I'm going to jump over here to LA, and I'm going to try and find my value. Kopitar with 2 goals, 8 assists, 23 shots and blocks. Not terrible. Going up against a hot Oilers line, but they may offset that, and they may come down here and they may pick on that second line when they can and get the -5. This is what I would anticipate them doing. So Kopitar may be, unless they're trying to D up McDavid, which they might try to attack the second line when they can. Drew Doughty, a goal, 6 assists on 31 shots at 5,800 is okay. He competes with Subban and Josie and those guys in that price range. Come down here, Kemp, Brown. Look at Brown, 1 goal, 4 assists, 34 shots and blocks on the second line. 6,200 is not a terrible price for that kind of a floor. And then I come down here to Muzzin on the 2, second defensive pairing, 3, 6, and 28 for 4,900. This is great. So I can tell you where I'm already going to be focusing. I'm going to be looking at Jake Muzzin and Dustin Brown down here on the 2, but look, they're both on the power play 1, which gets me all the way up here to Kopitar. If I run those 3, I've got top line covered, second line covered, and a defensive pairing covered that all overlaps on the same power play. You don't get a better spot than that for cash games. Any goals that LA scores tonight, I've likely got pieces of. Okay? And they may only score 2, but I might get pieces of both of those goals. That's what I'm trying to bank on. When I scroll back up here, if we play around with what we've done and build a little bit of a lineup, let's say with my goalie, let's say, Quick's out. That's not good. Oh, Darcy. I am not going to, well, look at that. He's on a roll. Can't argue the heater he's on. All right, I can take care of that. I can roll with that. Edmonton's bad enough on the road. Darcy's been hot. I can roll with that for 8,000. Good, a little bit of savings. So the first thing that I want to do, if it's me, is reach up and take a piece of the 1 on Boston. If I wanted to double up, I can definitely do that. The second thing that I'm probably going to do is jump into the defense. And yes, I would like Josie or Subban, but I know where I'm likely headed, Muzzin, for that correlation, and most likely Gardner. Because if anything, these 2 are going to free up these top centers. See, now if I take out, say, a Gardner, and I go in with a Josie, that's great. But that extra $1,000 is going to make this a little bit harder to afford. So I'm going to start down here lower with Gardner because I'm happy with that. And I'm going to see what I can't build in these other areas. I know that if I go, because this is, to me, this is where the slate's going to be won and lost tonight. You're going to have one of the big 3 centers. To do that, to make it comfortable, you're going to have to roll with one of these 2 cheaper defensemen, probably both. So this slate tonight, honestly, is going to be won and lost with your wings. Okay? Everybody's going to have one of the, now if you pick the right center, whether it be McDavid, Bergeron, or whatever, that's great. But what you're going to end up looking at, I think, is a little bit of this. Now, a lot of people aren't going to do this, but you come down here and take your value and move on. Now, if I wanted to jump into Toronto, take out Bergeron, then I wanted to go Austin Matthews, and say, where's Hyman at? Well, I could run Marner, and now I've got, here's what I've got. I've got pieces of both. I've got Gardner on the 1 in the second defensive pairing. Second defensive pairing's even strength with Marner most of the time and correlates on the power play with Austin Matthews and overlaps a little bit. Okay? So if I'm going to do that, now I can probably, 5,800 left to play with, I can probably roll down and grab, if I jump into LA, I can grab Kopitar for sure. He correlates with Muzzin. can probably get that Dustin Brown. And now I've correlated Toronto and LA tonight. And with these two wings left over at 5,000 each, I can jump over into the Nashville side of things most likely, cut down to just my wings. Hyman, Craig Smith, Marla, Fiala's out, Jack Rock. Current Sessions on the top line gets me access to Arvidsson and Johansson. And now that leaves me 6,300 left for a wing, which I can pretty much pick and choose. JT Miller in New York, Zuccarello, Bushnevich, Toffoli, Maroon, Backus, Hyman, Craig Smith, Marlowe, Pearson, Fiala, Spooner. Spooner's not bad on the Boston too. I could take, if I look at the correlation here between Spooner on the power play 1 and Bergeron on the power play 1, there's 2 lines of coverage down here with Krug. So that is another little stack that I could run. If I wanted to take out Kopitar, I can probably go up and grab Bergeron. Now I'm double high at my center. I've got 600 left to play with. If I wanted to take out Gardner, now I'm leaving Toronto behind. I don't necessarily want to do that. If I took out Muzzin and bumped up to the second Nashville guy, can't quite get Subban or Josie, but I can get Ellis. Honestly, I'd probably rather leave when I come back here to Nashville. 2-2 and 34 for 4,900. 2-2 and 34 versus 0-13 and 36. The floor is roughly the same. The production is a little bit better out of Gardner. Gardner connects with. This is the things that you think about. This, honestly, this lineup is rolling pretty well. Just like this, it's pretty cash safe. If I wanted to, I can tear it up and start all over again, give you another option. So if I start, let's say I wanted to start a different direction tonight. Let's say I wanted to do Pekka Rinne. People will do that. Now I need to dig down into value again. The easiest spot to find it down here is the defense. But let's say I wanted to focus more on Boston. So there's Krug, there's Bergeron. They correlate. You can either give me Spooner, you can give me Pastrnak. Let's see what we can't do with that. Instead of that, let's run Bergeron and Pastrnak together. Take Krug out of there. Gardner's just too cheap tonight. Could run Ellis. Could also maybe pay up and grab a Subban. If I do that, well, let's see, you're scrolling down a little bit here. I'm in the New York game, wrong game. Josie, Subban, Johansson, Marner, Kadri. If I wanted to focus on the 2, there's Kadri as my other center. 4,600. I still need, I know who I need. I most likely need Sessions at 3,800. That's going to actually free up a little bit more money. So if I go in here and look for who could correlate again, Sessions up here on the power play 2, down here Fiala and Turris. Turris is already taken. On the 2, Marner at 5,900, probably a little bit expensive. Hyman up here on the 1 at 5,400 is probably a little expensive. Boston 2, DeBrusk or Spooner. If we wanted to really correlate, we'd use Spooner again. Now that gives me 5,400 for another wing. 5,400 for another wing. There's Hyman, or Marlowe, Pearson, Heinen, I mean, these are all names that are playable. You know, I can just jam Hyman in there. Now I'm 1, 2, 3, Toronto, 1, 2, 3, Boston, 1, 2, Nashville. I mean, you know, I don't have any LA in this lineup. Just play with this stuff. Get your targets set right through here, through our VIP tools. Notice the shots and the blocks as your floor, the production to help you determine who has the upside. Start adding these numbers together and start correlating using the power play numbers and the scoring lines. It's all right here for you, all in one place. You start over here with the matchups, you move over into the projected lines, and you're off and running. Very easy to build lineups this way, guys. Very competitive lineups. So once again, consider being a VIP inside DFSArmy.com. Coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P. Follow me out on Twitter at Chopadong. Follow my YouTube channel, like and subscribe. We put these out there fairly often. It's 20 minutes in and out. Your slate's broken down for you today, and you're set up to win some money tonight. Take care, guys.